I keep seeing this mysterious symbol on my boss's truck. It's displayed on the front license plate and decaled on the rear windshield. He even has it tattooed on his right hand. Curious, I asked him about it directly, but he just smiled knowingly and said he couldn't tell me, that I had to figure it out myself. I've tried searching, but I still have no clue what it means. Has anyone seen this symbol before, or have any idea what it could represent? It's A Triskel with the elemental symbol for fire in the middle. Basically, it's a sigil that tells you to strive for excellence and passion in all aspects of your life. At least, that's what I get from this symbol. My coworker found this knife among his deceased father's belongings, but has no idea what it is. Unfortunately, this is the only picture available, so details are limited. The blade is roughly 6 inches long, with a total length of 8 to 8.5 inches, including the handle, and it's about 3 inches wide at its widest point. It looks cool and unique, but we have no clue about its origin or purpose. Does anyone recognize this style of knife or have any insights? This is a tribal dagger from the Philippines, specifically from the Gunong, Punalmoro tribes. I found this 45-pound solid stone, hand-carved piece at a thrift store, etched with calligraphy. Based on its ornate design and top shape, I assume it might be a garden feature, possibly water-related, but its exact function remains a mystery. I tried using AI to read the calligraphy, but the styling made it difficult to interpret. Photo searches only returned antique drums and other unrelated objects. Some match the general shape but not the actual details. Any help identifying this would be greatly appreciated. This is a Chinese drum-shaped inkstone. The inscriptions feature old Chinese characters written in an interesting style. My friend, who is a native Chinese speaker, and I have no clue what they say. However, he did manage to recognize the third and fourth characters from the right, which mean emperor. That said, I highly doubt this is an ancient royal artifact. It looks more like someone's hobby project. I found this hollow metal pole in a tree bed next to an office building. It has a plastic rubber handle on one end and a spiked portion on the other side, seemingly designed for the user's foot. The pole is 4 feet long, weighs about 20 pounds, and also features an articulating hook. I tried Google Lens, but it couldn't identify it. My best guess is that it's some kind of lifting or moving aid for heavy objects, but I'm not sure. Does anyone recognize this tool or know what it's used for? It's a manhole lid lifter. I found this heavy, possibly homemade object at an antique shop. It has no moving parts and is wedge-shaped rather than rectangular. The wand-like part at the top doesn't contain liquid or anything that moves. There is a tag or sticker on it that might be helpful for identification. I haven't had much luck searching for it, as I'm not sure what keywords to use. Given its location in the antique shop, I assume it's fairly old. Does anyone recognize this or have any idea what it might be? It's a kaleidoscope. The rod is filled with fluid and glitter. If you tilt it, the glitter will drift toward the bottom. Some kaleidoscopes use this type of rod to create ever-changing patterns. I was given this mysterious device, but I can't figure out what it is or what it does. One end looks like it might hold something about the size of a pocket watch, and in between that holder and a magnifying glass, there's a small light bulb socket. It also has a toggle switch and a battery compartment below. The holder piece has decorative leaf-like details and a small metal loop on one side. The entire box measures approximately 6 by 4 by 3 inches. My guess is that it is used to inspect something round like a watch, but the holes on the front are connected internally to the battery I've searched, but haven't found anything similar. Does anyone have any ideas on what this could be used for? It's a watch stand. I have this 8-inch nickel-plated tool with an adjustable bronze slider that locks in place with a thumb screw. The lower bolt also locks in place, making it seem like a precise adjustment tool. Based on the nickel plating, I suspect it dates back to the first half of the 20th century. The most intriguing feature is a small hook at the lower end, which might be the key to identifying its function. I've tried searching for antique nickel-plated tools, but haven't found a match. I'm starting to wonder if it's some kind of adjustable calibration stop, maybe for a weighing scale or another precision instrument. Does anyone recognize this tool or have any insights into its purpose? This is a copper electrode holder for a locomotive electric light. This has to be one of the hardest items to identify, but my uncle recognized it. He's a legend. He said, "I collect old tools and unique items, and I love a good mystery tool. After you sent me a picture of this one on February 24th, I spent 2 or 3 hours Googling it, but eventually gave up. I got back to the task last night. Around 1970 to 1971, I was a trainee projectionist under Don Sykes at the Manchester Film Theatre. So, like many others, I had a strong hunch it was a carbon rod. However, the tips weren't black as I was used to seeing, so I started researching. First, I Googled carbon arc film projector mechanisms, then carbon arc magic lanterns, carbon arc slide projectors, theater lighting, and street lighting. Then I was convinced it had to be part of a World War II searchlight, especially the gorgeous German ones, but no luck. Since the tips were copper-colored, I wasn't sure if it was actually a carbon rod or just a copper rod. So I expanded my search. Vintage carbon arc welding mechanisms, antique carbon arc spot welders, and vintage soldering tool tips, but still no good. I even looked at all kinds of door hinges and pivot points. Then I shifted to researching carbon arc Victorian lighting. That's when I found an alamy image of a carbon arc headlight. It wasn't quite right, but it looked close. That led me to Google carbon arc headlight, which eventually brought me to Locomotive headlights. Finally, I found a mechanism image on Flickr that blew my mind. It was a true eureka moment. The image contained some truncated text. Image from page 324 of Locomotive text for engineers, and that clue led me to a paperback on Amazon, and with the page 324 reference, I had all the answers. By then, it was past 2:30 a.m., but the mystery was finally solved. I found these hollow ceramic objects while cleaning out our warehouse in Memphis, Tennessee, which was built in the early to mid-1900s. They nest inside each other, have a beveled design, and come in 3 sizes. The largest, green, weighs 386 grams. The middle, white, weighs 221 grams. And the smallest, brown, weighs 175 grams. There are no markings, but each piece has 2 holes on the bottom, which could be part of the manufacturing process or have a specific function. The warehouse belonged to an old family with many vintage items, so these are likely from the early to mid-20th century. I'm curious, does anyone know what they might be? I found this heavy, compact device with a heating element underneath and a front blue screen that has a shelf beneath its frame. It has 2 knobs, one on the side and another on the back, where it is labeled heater number 3A but has no manufacturer listed. The unit is approximately 12 inches by 12 inches by 8 inches and weighs around 20 pounds. I tried Google Lens, but while I found reasonable guesses, nothing matched exactly. Some suggestions included a dental wax knife heater and a baby bottle sterilizer, but neither seems quite right. Does anyone recognize this or know what it might be used for?